Hi everyone, good day. Today I'm gonna go through what I think is a very cool feature that I never knew existed on this bike. So right now in Kuala Lumpur it's another lockdown, so I'm stuck at home. So I'll take this opportunity to do a video about a really cool feature that I never knew existed on this bike until now. So my bike is a 2020 model Honda CB650R. I've been riding this bike for about 6 months now. If you're like me, you would have bought this bike without even knowing that this really cool feature exists. To me, that itself makes this bike even more awesome than it originally was. So this cool feature I'm going to show you is in here, the HUD. I found that you can change and set a few different settings to the rev indicator to your own preference. How cool is that? It's like you can customize your own rev indicator and rev counter. So I'm not talking about the meter showing fuel consumption figures, changing between kmh, kph or the clock settings. I'm talking about the actual tachometer, which is the rev counter, and the rev indicator light. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So did you see that video? Let me show you another one where it's a little bit different. Did you see the difference? Well, the video on the left is showing the bike's rev indicator is blinking rapidly at 7,000 RPM to indicate the rider to shift up, while the video on the right shows the blinking slowly happens at 6,000 RPM and rapidly at 7,000 RPM. If you notice, the video on the right also highlighted where the peak rev was. Pretty cool, right? So there are a total of 4 different items you can customize in regards to this, in which there are instructions on page 37 to page 44 in the manual. If you're like me, I don't read the bike manual unless I really have to. Alright, so let me show you how to customize the settings and how you can change the rev limiter and tachometer settings. So first, with the bike completely turned off, you put in the key, hold the select button, turn it on, and it blinks. It's in settings mode when both the tachometer and as well as the rev indicator are both blinking at the same time. Here you will set the rev indicator. This means that you can set when you want the rev indicator to blink. It is blinking in the segment where you want the rev indicator to blink the fastest. Why fastest? Can that be slowed down? I'll get to that in a minute. So each time the select button is pressed, the fastest blinking point will increase by 1 segment. You can set this all the way up to 12,500 RPMs. Beyond that, it will bring the blinking counter back down to 5,000. Yes, this means you can have the bike beg you to shift gears as low as 5,000 RPMs. You're no fun if you do that, because this bike, the torque rush really comes in above 6,000 or 8,000 RPM. If you leave it for too long, it will automatically think that you're done with the changes and go to the default state. So you have to turn it off and turn it on again. So yeah, the range where you can set the rev indicator to blink is anywhere between 5,000 and 12,500 RPMs. Okay, just for the sake of it, I'm gonna set mine today at 7,000 RPMs. I mean, on normal days I'll set it at maximum, but for demonstration purposes it will be at 7,000 RPM, so it's easier to show you later. I mean, I don't have to rev the crap out of the bike to show you guys the effect of it. Once you found where you'd want to rev the indicator to blink and you're happy with it, go ahead, press the set button. That's how you set the point where the rev indicator flashes. Okay, so the next part, you're still in the settings mode, but now you move on to the next segment. As you can see here, there's a different point of blinking here. So it's a smaller, much smaller point, and as you can see, the number here changes to 500, and if you press, it becomes 750, 1000, and back to 0. This part enables you to customize how early you want your rev indicator to remind you that you're reaching the blinking point. Each time you press the select button, the indicator gets narrower by 250 RPMs. You can have the indicator set as wide as 0, 250, 500, 750 or 1000 RPM. And that is the RPM before the max rev indicator that you set earlier just now. What this means is that if you've set your rev indicator at 7,000 RPM, as like what we did just now, and you set your threshold to be at 1,000, like what we're doing right now, the bike's rev indicator will start to blink at 1,000 RPM before, which is at around 6,000 RPMs. Here's an example, let me show you. So the blinking starts at 6,000 RPMs, but it gets faster and flashes fastest once it reaches 7,000 RPMs. So if you've set the interval at the maximum possible at 0, it means that it will only blink at the rev indicator you set earlier at maximum blinking speed. That's it. It doesn't work its way to tell you what it is nearing the highest rev that you prefer. I usually set it at 500 RPMs before, because I like to be preempted but not too early before I need to shift. However, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to set it at 1000 today. You can set it to however you like, but once you're done, you're happy with the buffer range, go ahead and press the set button. Okay, so now we're in the third part, which is moving on to the setting of the brightness of the rev indicator. So here we have 5 different brightness settings to choose from. As you can see here, there's no more blinking on the tachometer, and this part here, the rev indicator, is no longer blinking. It's just staying bright at one color. And as you can see here, there's 5 bars you can choose from. And again, toggle it using the select button, and you can choose your preferred brightness. I ride the bike mostly during the day, so I would set it at maximum possible setting. And if you do most of your riding at night, the bright flashing could be quite annoying and somewhat distracting to you, so you might want to set it at lower brightness levels. Once you've set your preferred brightness, hit the set button. Alright, so here there's still something left to fiddle. Don't worry about it, we're not done yet. But this is the last part I'm going to show you. So we've moved on to the part where you get to change the tachometer display mode. You only get 2 options, which are known as conventional display and peak hole display. So use the select button to toggle between the 2. Conventional display shows the RPM movements as usual by default. What I'm showing you right now is the default display. And if you hit the select button, it is on the peak hole display, whereas the peak hole display temporarily shows the highest RPM or the peak RPM hit. This is useful when you rev the bike and change gear. This setting gives you a chance to peak at the highest RPM hit in case you missed it. You're not supposed to be looking at your counter while you ride, so you're supposed to concentrate on the road. It actually keeps your eyes off the rev counter. I personally like to have the additional information, so personally I choose to have the peak hole display as my default setting. Like the previous settings, press the set button to pick your choice and you're all set. So now it's back at the start default mode. Go ahead and start your bike and you're ready to go. Let the bike warm up a little before I can show you the effects. As you can see, the temperature gauge here it's still cold, and let's give it 1 or 2 bars and before we set off. So later I'll be able to rev the bike a bit and you can see the effects of the settings that we just customized. As you can see, at 6,000 RPM, the lights have already started to blink, but it gets faster as you get to 7,000 RPMs. And once I let go of the throttle, you can actually see the last point being marked there temporarily. It's really bright because it's at night now, but I usually ride during the days. It'll be fine for most of my riding. So let me show you how the traction control works. You can see that. Cut off the power as soon as it detects the slide. Alright, there you have it. If you're like me, it's probably a feature that you didn't know. I only opened the manual to find out about it once I was told about this feature. I find it very cool, especially for the fact that I didn't expect the bike to come with something like this. So if you have the CB650R or CBR650R, probably the 2019, 2020 or 2021 model, I believe would have this feature as well. Go ahead and play around with it. Customize it as per your liking. If you don't have this bike yet and you've seen this video now, thank you for sticking around this far. It's something for you to look forward to later when you get your bike eventually. And if you have a different bike, why not open the owner's manual? There's probably something that you didn't know about your bike that you can play around with. You'd be surprised. Okay guys, that's it from me. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll try to reply as soon as I can. Most importantly, ride safe, stay safe, and have a great day. Bye.